Ever wondered why Ser Duncan the Tall demanded a trial by combat, but Ned Stark, a man of legendary honor, didn't? Both faced false accusations that could cost them their lives. Both were in King's Landing, surrounded by enemies, yet their paths diverged completely. Let's break down this fascinating contrast, because it tells us so much about the shifting world of Westeros and what it truly means to be honorable in a Game of Thrones. First, let's travel back to the good old days, relatively speaking, to the era of Dunk and Egg. Ser Duncan the Tall, a simple hedge knight, finds himself accused of assaulting Prince Aerys Targaryen. Now, Dunk was technically guilty of hitting a prince, but he did it to defend an innocent puppeteer. The accusation against him, however, was twisted into treason. For Dunk, a trial by combat was his only real option. Why? Well, first off, the legal system of his time was heavily stacked against a commoner accused by royalty. A normal trial would have been a sham. His word against a prince is no chance. Secondly, and this is crucial, the culture of honor was different. In Dunk's time, the ideals of knighthood, while tarnished, still held significant weight. A trial by combat, specifically a trial of 7, was seen as a legitimate way for the gods to render judgment. It was a respected, albeit brutal, institution. For Dunk, demanding this trial wasn't just a legal strategy. It was an appeal to a higher power and a testament to his belief in true justice. He believed the gods would see his righteous cause and grant him victory. He was a knight, and this was how knights settled matters of life, death, and honor. He was literally living the songs. Also consider his personal circumstances. Dunk had nothing to lose and everything to gain. As a hedge knight, he had no vast lands, no great house to protect, and no children whose safety depended on his survival. His life was his own, and his honor was his most valuable possession. To accept a false accusation and be executed without a fight would be to surrender that honor. By demanding a trial, he was standing up for his own integrity and for the innocent person he defended. It was a pure, simple, and incredibly brave act of defiance. He put his faith in his own strength and the righteousness of his cause. Now, let us fast forward about 90 years to the political snake pit that is Robert Baratheon's King's Landing. Eddard Stark, the Hand of the King, is in a world of trouble. After Robert's death, Ned moves to expose the truth about Joffrey's parentage. But Littlefinger betrays him, the City Watch turns on him, and he's thrown in the dungeons, accused of treason for trying to usurp the throne. He's offered a deal, confess to his crimes, acknowledge Joffrey as the rightful king, and he'll be allowed to take the black and live out his days on the wall. So why didn't Ned, a man whose entire identity is built on honor, demand a trial by combat? The answer is heartbreakingly complex and shows just how much Westeros had changed. First and foremost, his family. Unlike Dunk, Ned wasn't just fighting for himself, he was a father. His daughters Sansa and Arya were captives in King's Landing. Sansa was a hostage, engaged to the monstrous Joffrey. Arya was missing, alone and vulnerable in the city. If Ned demanded a trial by combat and lost, which was a real possibility, Sansa's life would be in immediate, grave danger. The Lannisters would have no reason to show her any mercy. Ned's primary duty, as he saw it, was no longer to his own personal honor, but to his children. He had to swallow his pride, a bitter pill for a Stark, to protect his daughters. He chose to accept the deal, believing it was the only way to ensure Sansa's safety and give Arya a chance to escape. It was a father's sacrifice, placing the well-being of his children above his own reputation and life. He had seen what happened to families who lost political games in the capital, and he wasn't about to let his children pay the ultimate price for his honor. Secondly, let's talk about the political reality. By Ned's time, a trial by combat in the capital had become less about divine justice and more about political theater. Who would even be his champion, and who would he fight? The Mountain. Ser Jaime Lannister. The odds would be stacked against him not just by skill, but by political manipulation. Cersei and Littlefinger weren't playing by the old rules of honor. They were playing a game where the only rule is you win or you die. An appeal to the gods would fall on deaf ears when the people running the show had no faith in anything but power. Ned understood this. He was a pragmatist, trapped in an honor-bound body. He saw that the institutions he once believed in were corrupted. A trial by combat wouldn't be a test of his righteousness. It would be a spectacle, a state-sanctioned murder designed to legitimize Joffrey's reign. Even if he somehow won, what then? The Lannisters would still hold the city and his daughters. They would likely just find another way to kill him and call it an accident. His victory would solve nothing and might even make things worse for his family. He was completely outmaneuvered, and a duel wouldn't change the strategic reality. Think about the advice he received. Varys, the master of whisperers, urged him to confess. He laid out the cold, hard logic. Confess and live. Your daughter's life depends on it. This wasn't a call to dishonor, but an appeal to Ned's love as a father. It was a recognition that in this new, brutal world, the old ways of honor were a death sentence, not just for you, but for everyone you cared about. Ned's internal conflict must have been agonizing. Every fiber of his being screamed to fight back, to defend his name the way his ancestors would have. But the love for his children, his duty as a father, ultimately overruled his identity as a warrior. So, in the end, we have two honorable men making opposite choices for the exact same reason. They were trying to do the right thing according to their own principles and circumstances. Dunk's world, for all its flaws, still had room for a knight's honor to win the day. His was a story of individual heroism. Ned's world was one of cynical politics, where honor was a weakness to be exploited. His story is a tragedy about the clash between personal integrity and the brutal demands of power and family responsibility. Dunk chose to fight because his honor was all he had. Ned chose not to fight because his children were everything he had. Both decisions were, in their own context, acts of incredible bravery. Dunk risked his life for his honor, while Ned sacrificed his honor for the lives of his daughters. It's a powerful statement on how the ideals of Westeros decayed over time, from an age where the gods might still answer, to an age where men played God themselves, with terrifying consequences. And of course, we all know how Ned's choice tragically backfired, thanks to Joffrey's cruelty. But in that moment, in that dark cell, he made the only choice a loving father could. What do you think? Was Ned's decision the right one? Or should he have demanded a trial no matter the cost? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It's one of the most debated moments in the entire series for a reason. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Westeros, be sure to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.